Why do modern relationships feel so incredibly hard? I mean, we've literally all been there, right? Staring at a phone, just agonizing over a text, wondering why someone you're seeing is suddenly pulling away. Or maybe on the flip side, feeling instantly suffocated by a partner who just wants to get a little bit closer to you. The pain and the confusion of modern dating is practically a universal experience at this point. But what if I told you that your relationship struggles aren't some deep character flaw? What if it's actually just biology? Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are completely decoding your love life through the science of adult attachment. We're going to break down the groundbreaking book, Attached, by Dr. Amir Levine and Rachel Heller. Look, if you've been desperately wanting to figure out your own dating patterns and finally find some real happiness, you are in exactly the right place. Because it turns out our romantic frustrations actually have a really clear scientific explanation, and we're going all the way back to our evolutionary roots to prove it to you. Okay, let's dive right into our roadmap. We'll start with why we're wired for connection, meet the 3 core attachment styles, explore the dreaded anxious avoidant trap, crack the attachment code, and then wrap up with finding your secure base. Section 1, Wired for Connection. Before we can really figure out how we love, we've got to understand why we love. And the answer here might actually surprise you. Our need for a partner, it isn't some modern weakness. You see, society constantly feeds us this codependency myth, this idea that we have to be entirely 100% self-sufficient to be happy, and that needing someone is a sign of addiction or weakness. But science reveals what's called the dependency paradox. Get this. True, fearless independence actually requires finding someone you can completely depend on. Once we become attached, we literally form a single physiological unit with our partner. They actually regulate our heart rate, our breathing, our blood pressure. So let's just go ahead and destigmatize the whole concept of being needy. Your emotional needs are incredibly valid, and they are biologically hardwired for your survival. Section 2. Meet the 3 styles. Now that we know we fundamentally need connection, let's meet the cast of characters playing out in our love lives. When we look at the general population, the numbers are kind of shocking. 50% of people are secure. Yes, literally half the world is actually secure. 25% are avoidant, 20% are anxious, and then a rare 3 to 5% fall into the disorganized category. Now, I know what you're thinking. If you're single, you might feel like secure people just do not exist. But that's usually because they pair off really quickly and stay in long-term relationships. That leaves the anxious and avoidant styles way overrepresented in the dating pool. So let's break down exactly what these 3 main styles actually look like. First up, the anxious attachment style. If this is you, you naturally crave intimacy and deep emotional closeness, but your attachment system is super sensitive. You're basically hypervigilant to any perceived threat of rejection or abandonment. The second you worry about a partner's availability, your system gets activated. You might start using what's called protest behavior, calling multiple times, acting out, or even threatening to leave. But you're just doing it to get their attention and reestablish that connection. It's not crazy, it's literally an evolutionary distress signal. Next, we have the avoidant attachment style. Now, avoidant individuals have the exact same biological need for love as the rest of us. But here's the catch. They equate intimacy with a loss of independence. When things get a bit too close, they instinctively feel suffocated. To manage that feeling, they use deactivating strategies. This is stuff like nitpicking tiny flaws, physically pulling away, prioritizing work over the relationship, or just flat out refusing to commit. They're doing this to keep their partner safely at arm's length, actively suppressing their own innate need for closeness. And finally, the secure attachment style. This is the absolute gold standard of relationships. Secure people are completely comfortable with intimacy. They are naturally warm, they're consistently loving, and they really don't view relationships as this exhausting hard work. And they absolutely do not play games. They're reliable, they just communicate their needs clearly and effectively, usually assuming that their partner has their best interests at heart. And this brilliantly illustrates the whole dynamic when we compare them across the board. Think about intimacy. The anxious partner constantly craves it, the avoidant fears it, and the secure partner is just totally comfortable with it. In conflict, anxious individuals tend to act out, avoidant individuals withdraw and hide, and secure people just seek a direct resolution. And then with communication, anxious partners can come off demanding, avoidant partners are super vague, and secure partners are just wonderfully direct. Keeping this cheat sheet in your mind is going to instantly help you read the room and literally any romantic dynamic. Section 3, the anxious avoidant trap. Now, this trap right here explains the heartbreaking reality of why people who crave intimacy the most so often end up with the exact people who push it away. It is a literal vicious cycle. The anxious partner senses some distance, right? So their attachment system activates and they push hard to get closer. But that very push immediately triggers the avoidant partner's deactivating strategies, making them pull away to gain space and independence. So the harder the anxious person clings, the faster the avoidant person runs. It creates this perpetual danger zone where neither person's fundamental needs are ever truly met, but for some reason, they feel completely stuck to each other. If you were watching this right now, you might deeply, painfully recognize the signs of this trap from your own lived experience. It feels like an exhausting roller coaster of intense highs and agonizing lows. You experience what they call stable instability, like the relationship lasts, but you are just chronically dissatisfied the whole time. You end up fighting endlessly about trivial things like how to load the dishwasher or when to text back, when what you're actually fighting about is the fundamental amount of intimacy between you. And since resolving conflict would actually bring you closer together, the avoidant partner often ensures that the conflict remains unresolved. It's just exhausting.
Section 4. Cracking the Attachment Code.
Okay, so now that we understand the deep theory here, we're going to make it actionable. Let's empower you to decode your own dating life so you can finally stop falling into these painful traps. Here are the absolute golden rules for figuring out a partner's style really early on. Step 1. Do they actually seek intimacy? If they're keeping you at a distance or constantly sending mixed signals, they're likely avoidant. Step 2. How sensitive are they to rejection? If minor things send them into an absolute panic, they probably lean anxious. And step 3. How do they react to effective communication? Honestly, this is the most crucial step of all. Let's look a little closer at that. Now, what's really fascinating here from the source material is this idea of using your voice. We so often bite our tongues when we're dating, don't we? We don't want to seem needy or too much. But speaking up is actually a diagnostic tool. A secure person will listen to your needs, they'll validate them, and they'll try to accommodate you. An avoidant person, they're going to call you too demanding, say you're being too sensitive, and just shut you down. Expressing yourself authentically isn't being needy. It's literally your best filter for weeding out the wrong partners.
Section 5. Finding your secure base.
At the end of the day, the ultimate goal here isn't just to sit around and analyze our flaws, right? It's to help you actively achieve genuine relationship peace. So, what does a secure base actually look like in the real world? Well, a secure partner is reliable and consistent. They make joint decisions with you instead of just dictating the terms of the relationship. They communicate clearly, they absolutely do not play games with your heart, and they are not afraid of commitment. Finding this kind of stable bond isn't just a nice to have, it literally provides an evolutionary survival advantage. It completely frees up your mental energy so you can actually go out and thrive in your career, your hobbies, and just your overall personal happiness. All of this builds to a message of profound hope. The book says, attachment styles are stable but plastic. So what does that actually mean for us? It means that while your style is consistent, you have the very real power to change it. You are absolutely not doomed to repeat your past mistakes. By recognizing these patterns, communicating effectively, and consciously, intentionally choosing to date secure partners, you can literally rewrite your relationship DNA. You can move from anxious or avoidant right toward a secure, deeply fulfilling love life. So, I want to leave you with this final, incredibly important thought. Which attachment style is currently driving your relationship decisions, and are you ready to finally find your secure base? The science is completely in your hands now. Take these tools, go decode your love life, and find the secure, lasting connection you actually deserve. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep learning.